If you thought the first Fame was a gut punch, wait until you hear what Zach Cregger has planned next. That's the first thing that raced through my mind after spending an hour on Zoom with the writer-director behind Weapons, the new horror drama that's currently scaring the popcorn out of theatergoers. In our spoiler-light conversation, Cregger not only confirmed he already has a sequel mapped out in his head, but he also revealed how cinematic heavyweight David Fincher quietly became the film's secret weapon. But here's where it gets controversial. Some die-hard Fincher fans might argue that his fingerprints are too subtle to matter, while others will swear the movie's entire rhythm changed because of one late-night email chain. Which side will you land on? Keep reading, then sound off below. A town without children, a classroom that vanishes overnight, and one floating AR-15 weapons drops us into a sleepy hamlet where, in a single evening, every student from Justine's class disappears. The adults unravel fast. Justine, Julia Garner, the haunted teacher who can't forgive herself. Paul, Alden Ehrenreich, the small-town cop, drowning in helpless rage. Archer, Josh Brolin, the grieving father ready to burn the world to find his son. And a baby-faced burglar, Austin Abrams, who stumbles into a nightmare he never signed up for. Cregger stitches their perspectives together like chapters in a grim novel. Once he leaves a character, he never circles back. No safety net, no second chances. Magnolia on mushrooms, Cregger happily cops to borrowing the vibe of Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia, the sprawl, the ache, the sudden burst of surrealism. But he's quick to point out that his structure is far more ruthless. Magnolia revisits characters, he told me. I wanted a relay race, hand off the baton and keep sprinting. The result feels like binge reading a stack of novellas that all end mid-sentence. Grief as fuel, not therapy. Many writers claim art heals them. Cregger isn't selling that fairy tale. After losing someone close, he funneled raw sorrow into the screenplay, but he insists the process didn't grant closure, just a healthier outlet than, say, drinking myself to death. Instead of self-destructing, he watched Julia Garner's character drink herself into a corner and let Josh Brolin scream the screams he couldn't. If that sounds like emotional ventriloquism, Cregger shrugs. Better the characters than me. The floating gun nobody can explain. Mid-film, Archer dreams of a house-sized assault rifle hovering in the sky like a malevolent parade balloon. Ask Cregger what it means, and you'll get an almost gleeful confession. I have no clue, and that's the point. He wants audiences to project their own politics, fears, or indifference onto the image. Love it, hate it, meme it. He's fine with all of the above. Comedy that bleeds. Coming from sketch comedy, his days with The Whitest Kids You Know, Cregger knows how to land a punchline. Here, the humor oozes out of desperation rather than clever one-liners. Any joke that felt written hit the cutting room floor. The rule: let the situation beg for relief, then deliver it with a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. Gore that still didn't break the ratings board. Yes, heads get squashed like overripe fruit. Yet Cregger credits Terrifier 3 for raping everybody's eyes so thoroughly that his own carnage feels almost quaint. Still, he admits he's chasing the holy grail of on-screen skull trauma, the infamous fire extinguisher moment in Irreversible, and swears he'll nail it one day. Consider that a public dare to the MPAA. Enter David Fincher, the ghost in the edit bay. Scroll to the end credits and you'll see special thanks, David Fincher. That's not Hollywood lip service. During pre-production, Fincher became Cregger's on-call mentor, texting lens suggestions at 2 a.m. and dissecting rough cuts frame by frame. Post-production was a masterclass in it can always be better. Fincher pushed Cregger to reframe shots, massage performances with micro ADR, and embrace stabilization tricks that turned almost good takes into razor-sharp storytelling. The controversial part? Some editors argue that level of digital polish strips away grit. Cregger counters that it replaces happy accidents with deliberate ones. Which philosophy do you buy? Casting alchemy. How do you know an actor can surf your film's tonal tsunami? Simple. You've already seen them do it. Garner's bottled fury in The Assistant. Ehrenreich's wounded charm in Hail Caesar. Brolin's granite stoicism in No Country. Each resume entry became proof of concept. Cregger calls it collecting people I've always loved watching, then trusting them to calibrate their own emotional thermostats. Sequel seeds already planted. Before the first box office receipts are even counted, Cregger has a second chapter sketched out. Sane universe, new nightmare. He won't shoot it next. He's busy resurrecting Resident Evil, but the idea is kind of exciting, which in director speak means he's already losing sleep over set pieces. Here's the kicker. He refuses to say whether any of the original characters survive long enough to return. Cue the comment section civil war. Resident Evil, the pressure cooker. Speaking of zombies, Cregger's next gig is the upcoming Resident Evil reboot. His mission statement. Bottle the claustrophobic pacing of the early games, methodical, dread-soaked, one character against an unrelenting gauntlet, and translate it to the language of cinema without drowning in Easter eggs. Purists will either cheer or grab pitchforks. So what do you think? Does Fincher's invisible hand elevate or sterilize the film? Is Cregger's refusal to explain the floating gun genius or lazy? And if the sequel ignores every surviving character, will you feel cheated or thrilled by the narrative ruthlessness? Drop your hottest takes below. Agreement, outrage, and wild theories are all welcome. Let's see whose comment gets under Zach's skin first.